Hey everyone, it's your girl Melly Mel, aka Coach E from All of Me Inc. Are you struggling with your teen, tween, or even your itty bitty who is in school right now dealing with e-learning? If you are, I have a special guest joining me today. She's a mom and she's my longtime dear friend. We are going to give you guys 3 tips and a little more. I think we had a few extra little sprinkly dust in there for you as well. But we're going to give you just a few tips and tricks that we're using that have been working for us as we navigate through this e-learning together. So if this is something that interests you and you'd like to, just get a little bit of our insight as far as how we've been handling e-learning, please stay tuned. I've decided to split the video into 2 parts because we had some really good conversation and I don't want it to be cut off. So there is a part 1 and a part 2 shortly to follow. Stay tuned. Hello YouTubers and welcome back to my channel, All of Me Inc. I am Melly Mel, aka Coach E, and this is another Mel.
Hi, Antoinette, or also known as Melissa.
Never has just one name. It's Antoinette Melissa, my longtime friend since 1998.
We go way back.
I brought Melissa on the channel today to discuss some back to school tips for all the parents out there. Melissa and I are both parents of 2 children that are about a year or so apart. Hers are less than a year apart.
No, they're a year. They were a year and a week, but they're still a year.
Okay. And mine are a year, 2 months, and 2 weeks.
Okay, you beat me.
Yeah. Wonderful. You beat me. You beat me. Yeah. But anyway, so we both have an older daughter and then a son the following year. So tell us a little bit about your kids as far as their age, what grade they're in, and just so we can get a little bit of background information before we give you guys the tips and tricks.
Sure. So I have 2 teenagers. I have a daughter who is 15. She'll be 16 in a few months. And I have a 14-year-old son who will also be 15 in a few months. So 2 teenagers. My daughter is a junior in high school. Yes, you heard that right. A junior in high
That
school.
don't crack.
It sure don't. And my son is an 8th grader in middle school. So there you go. 2 teenagers. I am much older than I look. Not much older, but I'm older than I look.
We're older than we look. Like, we went out one time and people were, when we said, yeah, and our kids, they were like, you're what? Mm-hmm. Ma'am, we're purchasing alcohol. Like, we're older than you, for sure. And I have a daughter that you guys have seen on this channel before, Harmony. She's 11 now and just entering middle school. And my son, Makai, is in 5th grade. So he's 10. Last year of elementary school. So it's been a lot. It's been challenging. 2020 has been off the chain.
Definitely. To
say the least. Off the chain, And so we are both homeschooling, just like the rest of you guys, our kids, even though we have other priorities and responsibilities to take care of, we're out here being all sorts of different things. And that's why I brought Melissa on the show. We were having a conversation. I was just going to do a quick little, give you guys 3 tips and keep it moving. But I was talking to Melissa and she said, I want to see if you can repeat it for them. What are you at home?
So I told Melanie, I am the principal. I am the security guard. I am the lunch lady.
Speaking of the lunch lady, if you need to place an order for lunch, you want to follow Bijou Box Guru on Instagram. She's the real lunch lady.
I'm the IT professional. I'm the hall monitor as well as the teacher's aide and sometimes the tutor. So that is like 7 roles all wrapped in this one body for the kids at homeschool. And I'm sure some of you parents out there can relate to all of those roles. IT person, because the kids can't get on Zoom, they can't get into Clever or whatever it is.
The link doesn't work. The link doesn't work. The link doesn't work. It's glitching. You know you left out a role.
I left out a role.
You did.
I don't know.
The one you actually signed up for. Mom. I'm a mom. She's a mom. I mean, you know, if you guys know anything about my background, I was in education for several years. This is my first year actually not full-time teaching in a long time. I am going to sub a couple of times. We're going to see how interesting that's going to be to sub online. But, you know, I have had the experience to be some of these things that you're talking about, because when you're a teacher in the classroom, you experience these things as well. But you know, you go to work for that. But when you're at home trying to do that and keep your home organized, and you know, if you're working from home, you're trying to work, the kids have no idea what your office hours are, nor do they care. It becomes quite challenging.
Right.
So we're going to give you guys just a few tips of what has worked for us. We're not like some gurus or anything, especially for those of you who have younger kids, but this can work for the older kids as well. We're just going to give you guys a few tips and tricks. Tip number 1, and I think everybody knows this, but doesn't really take the time to do it, and that is establish a routine. When your child was going to school physically, I mean, I would hope you did this. Maybe you didn't, but now's a good time to start. There's a certain time for your child to go to sleep at night in order to wake up at a certain time. So you want to establish these routines during the weekdays so that they are well rested and ready to learn in the morning.
I agree, Melanie. And just like kids, just like adults need routine, kids need also routine. I tell my kids to, at least, school start for us at 8:30. So I tell my kids to get up 7:45. Sometimes they always don't.
Sometimes they always don't. Yeah.
Sometimes they don't. And I tell them to get up that early because to wash their face, get themselves ready, settled for school, and also to log into the computer and Clever a few minutes before class start, because there's always some kind of issues with getting into class.
Well, her kids are a little older and therefore able to do this on their own. If you have kids that are a little bit younger, like my son is in 5th grade, so I have to make sure that they wake up an hour early, like a little bit just right before 7, so that if they're giving me all these extra issues, you know, it doesn't really affect them. And then by 7:15, because they start at 8, so by 7:15, latest 7:30, they're eating breakfast, and before they even come out to eat breakfast, they've already logged on. You know, so that the computer is just on, like they're not on the actual meeting, but the computer is up and running, and when they're done eating breakfast, like you, about 10 minutes before class start, they log on and they're ready to go. So yeah, that definitely helps.
And then I make sure my kids also change their clothes and put on, they don't put on uniforms, but they change their clothes and put on appropriate looking clothes.
You don't put your kids in uniform, but I paid for them uniforms last year, honey. No. They had a whole second set to wear from January to June that they only got to wear until March. So they wear a uniform. And you know what? Whether it's uniform or whether it's casual clothes, that's definitely a part of establishing the routine, is to make sure that they are changing their clothes. It's just different. And that's for the adult too. Because I work from home, and I tell you now, if I stay in like, you know, home clothes, I'm not getting much done. I even got to the point where, you know, I don't wear shoes in the house. We don't wear outside shoes, but I picked one pair of shoes and disinfected them, and I wear them around the house because it just makes you feel like you're actually doing something.
Yeah, I work from home sometimes, and I have on professional clothes, but have on comfy bed slippers walking around the house.
You gotta do what you gotta do. Right now, you have no idea what's at the bottom. Like, no clue.
It's appropriate though.
It is. It is. I hope you all enjoyed the first part of our tips and tricks to e-learning at home with your kids. I am Coach E from All of Me Inc. and I will see you in the next video. Toodaloo!